The walled city, Tulum. The location of the Tulum Ruins is its main draw. This ruin site, the only Maya city on a Caribbean beach, was constructed on a bluff facing the rising sun. Even though millions of visitors visit this Maya ruin on the Riviera Maya, the vistas are still hailed as breathtaking. Ruins in the Mayan Riviera. In the Yucatec language, Tulum refers to the substantial wall that encircles the settlement and has the meaning wall. Given its eastern location, Tulum's Mayan name, Zama, which means dawn, is appropriate. It appears that the place was given the name Tulum in 1841 by explorers Stephens and Catherwood. Long after the city had been abandoned, Stephens and Catherwood traveled to Tulum in 1847, just before the start of the Caste War. Their well-known book Incidents of Travel in Yucatan details their trip to Tulum. The fact that Juan José Gálvez is given credit for Tulum's rediscovery in 1840 should not be overlooked. The site's history. An inscription on a stela at the site gives the earliest known date as A.D. 564. Although we are aware that Tulum's peak was much later, between 1200 and 1521 AD. During the late post-Classic period, this still places Tulum inside the Classic period. The main hub of the enormous Maya trading network, where both ocean and land routes converged, was Tulum. Artifacts discovered on site or close by attest to contact with Central America and Central Mexico. Archaeologists discovered jade from Guatemala, flint and ceramics from the Yucatan, and copper rattles and rings from the highlands of Mexico. Tulum served as the center of global commerce and was in charge of distributing goods throughout the Yucatan through Coba, Chichen Itza, and other nearby cities. Tulum was believed to be a center for priestly religion, with sacred leaders being protected by its walls. Archaeologists have proof that the population was exterminated by the Spaniards when they brought diseases from the Old World into the region to wipe off the indigenous people. About 70 years after the conquest, Tulum was eventually abandoned, yet it was still inhabited. The manuscripts of Friar Diego de Landa's observations on the Yucatan Peninsula contain documentation of this calamity. Local Maya still went to the temples in the late 20th century to pray and burn incense. A quick guide to the Tulum Ruins. One of the relatively few Maya-built walled cities is Tulum. Due to the ocean's protection of the eastern borders, the settlement only has these walls on 3 sides. On 12-meter, 39-foot cliffs along the Caribbean, the ruins are located. A 1,000 to 1,600 person population was thought to reside in Tulum. The wall surrounding Tulum is 400 m, 300 feet long, 8 meters, 26 feet thick, and 3 to 5 meters, 16 feet high on the western wall that runs parallel to the sea. The 7.5 meters, 25 feet tall Castillo, main pyramid/castle, appears to have built in phases. Tulum played a significant role in controlling trade from land and the sea into the Yucatan Peninsula from Central and South America. The diving deity or descending god and the god of the bee, a crucial insect for the Maya even today, were revered in Tulum. Members of the Talking Cross cult occupied Tulum during the Caste War. Thousands of people visit Tulum every day, making it the most popular Maya ruin in the Yucatan Peninsula. The principles of the Tulum Ruins. When visitors arrive at the pre-Hispanic site in Tulum, they can witness the structures that once served as the city's major hub for ceremonial and political activity. Several thatched wooden huts along this wall were inhabited by workers, but there is little documentation of them today. City Square, El Castillo. The Castillo, often known as the Lighthouse, is the highest and most well-known structure in Tulum City. It commands a view of the ocean and the coast for miles because it is front and center on the cliff. The plumed serpent design was carved into the lintels of the upper rooms during the structure's many construction stages. The rooms themselves have traditional Mayan vaulting. Trading canoes would land in a little bay at the base of the Castillo. Temple of the Descending Deity. The descending god is depicted as a sculptured figure with its head looking downward on the temple's facade. More sculptures of descending deities can be seen on other buildings, suggesting that Tulum is the hub of the god's religion. The original Maya paints and colors can still be seen on the interior walls. Textures at the Tulum Ruins are secondary. Several stucco figurines can be seen on the temple of the initial series facade. The stelae that contain the earliest date discovered at this site were inside this structure. Murals throughout the temple of the frescoes have suffered severe deterioration due to weather and time. The temple exhibits remnants of several architectural types. The House of the Columns is more intricate than the majority of the buildings there. It is a 4-room palace-like building whose main entrance faces the south. The roof of the main room and top sanctuary is supported by 6 columns. The Kukulkan group, which is situated north of El Castillo, is recognized by the cluster of small buildings here. The Templo del Dios del Viento, Temple of the Wind, so named because of its circular base, is the most notable building in this group. Kukulkan was historically tied to the central Mexican wind god Azcatl. On the west, facing wall, 2 watchtowers house altars for many religions. The harbor and beach were crucial components of the Tulum community, which was situated at the foot of the Tulum Ruins. Mayan ships that were used for trade around the Yucatan Peninsula moored here. Today, tourists come here to swim, snorkel, and relax. The Tulum Ruins. What we love about them. The views of the Caribbean are beautiful. This alone distinguishes Tulum as unique. We also value how much information about Mayan history is provided as soon as you enter the website. An original entry through the Tulum Wall was the sole means to access and exit the site when we first visited the Tulum Ruins in the early 1990s. As you enter the grounds of Tulum, INAH has produced a fantastic introduction to the history of the Maya. Make the most of your trip to the Tulum Ruins to learn more about Tulum's beaches and village. Unless you have decided to stay in one of the beachfront hotels, the town and beach are both fantastic day outings from the area. Traveling to the Tulum routes. Tulum is a not-to-be-missed archaeological site because it is Quintana Roo's most well-known and much-promoted location. The website is accessible daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When you enter Tulum, parking is accessible immediately off the highway after the first set of lights. You can walk 800 meters from the parking lot to the site's entrance, or if you want to avoid the tropical heat, you can take a small family-run tram. Note, to appreciate the Tulum Ruins without the crowds, consider scheduling your visit either before or after the time that the majority of tour buses arrive at 11 a.m. If you're interested in learning more about the significance and history of this Mayan ruin, there is a recognized guides association offering services at the ruin site. How was the video? Do you like it? Post your precious feedback in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.